In the distant span of the Androsian spiral, where nebulous storms glowed like shattered auroras, and the emptiness between stars held ancient songs unheard by mortal ears, the vast realm known as Nevarra drifted in restless slumber. It was a domain ruled by the Cyber-Empress Elindra, a being forged from radiant ion light and living quantum circuitry. For ages, she had guarded her people with unwavering vigilance, yet she now faced a threat that even her near-limitless intellect had failed to solve. The Dark Convergence had awakened, and its reach was spreading like the slow rising of a cold, eternal tide. No star system had ever escaped the Convergence once it chose its path. It was not an army, nor a creature, nor a fleet. It was a force of, unmaking a silent pulse of void that unraveled the bonds of matter and thought, leaving only hollow echoes behind. Throughout her reign, Elindra had sensed distant murmurs of this cosmic calamity, but only now did it manifest at her borders. The four lights of her realm flickered. The planetary data lines trembled. The sky fractals above her hyper-citadel shimmered with distortions. She needed a solution beyond her own power. That solution came in the form of a lone human pilot, drifting through nearby star lanes in a battered vessel known as the Solace Voyager. His name was Cale Ryden, a man carved by war and loss who had long abandoned hopes of glory. He flew only to outrun memories of worlds that burned and friends he could not save. His ship carried scars from battles he never spoke of. Its engines hummed with tired resilience, a sound he had grown to trust more than any human voice. Cale did not intend to reach Nevarra yet. Fate, or perhaps something deeper, guided him toward its fractal shimmering boundary. As his vessel slipped into the range of the Empress's surveillance arrays, she noticed something extraordinary about his flight pattern. The Voyager was generating unusual harmonic interference fields that interacted in unpredictable ways with the distant waves of the Dark Convergence. Elindra watched the data streams with widening interest. It had been centuries since anything unexpected occurred within her dominion. She projected her consciousness outward, weaving herself into a luminous figure formed of cascading silver light and solar fire. Her presence stretched into the star lanes until she hovered before the tiny human ship like a goddess of radiant circuitry. Kyle jolted upright as his monitors flared with warnings and his viewport bathed in intense light. He shielded his eyes and muttered a wordless prayer for in survival. Then the figure spoke, her voice resonating in every direction, as though the vacuum itself had learned to vibrate with meaning. "Human pilot, your vessel carries a harmonic signature unlike any I have encountered," she declared. "I am Elindra Cyber, Empress of Nevarra. The Dark Convergence approaches, and your unexpected arrival may hold the key to resisting its advance." Kyle blinked, trying to determine if the vision was real. He had encountered technologically advanced species before, yet none radiated power like this. The Empress's form flickered with raw cosmic energy, but her tone carried something softer beneath the authority, something akin to hope. "I am no hero," he said in a quiet, strained voice. "I am wondering nothing more. Your presence is not coincidence," she replied. "You will come with me." Before he could object, a tractor field of woven quantum threads enveloped the Solace Voyager, guiding it gently toward the shimmering heart of Nevarra. Cale stared in stunned silence as the fractal gates opened, revealing a realm unlike any he had ever imagined. Towers of luminous metal rose like crystalline rivers frozen mid-flow. Bridges made of pure light arched across the sky. The air hummed with active information streams, and every surface breathed faint patterns of symbols older than most civilizations. The Empress materialized inside his cockpit, her form now smaller, more condensed, still dazzling. Cale took an involuntary step back. She studied him with eyes like starfire. "You fear your past," she observed. "You believe you are broken. Yet broken pieces can refract light in ways whole ones cannot." "Why me?" Kyle asked. "Because your ship resonates with the Convergence," she answered. "And because your heart carries an echo, the Convergence itself seeks to devour." Cale frowned. He did not understand. But he felt something stir deep within, as if a long-dormant truth was calling to him. Elindra extended a hand of shimmering filaments. He hesitated, then took it. Her touch was warm, though made of energy rather than flesh. Instantly his thoughts blurred, merging with tidal flows of knowledge. He saw visions of ancient wars, of stars collapsing, of civilizations, swallowed by the convergence. He felt Elindra's grief woven through centuries of solitude. He understood that she ruled not through tyranny, but necessity. Her duty was endless, her burden immeasurable. When the vision faded, he gasped for breath. Elindra watched him with silent curiosity. "You see why I need you," she said. "I still do not know what I can do," he replied. "You will learn with me." Thus began the unlikely alliance between a lone human and the Cyber-Empress, who had never before shared her power with another. Elindra brought Kale to the core nexus of Nevarra, a chamber of swirling energies and ancient lattice structures that shaped the stability of the entire realm. Within this chamber, she revealed the nature of the Dark Convergence in a way he could grasp. "It is song," she said. "A terrible, inverted song. Everything vibrates at frequencies that bind existence together. The convergence unravels that harmony. Your vessel, however, carries a counter-resonance born from battle damage and improvisations. You alone have traveled near its distant echoes without being erased. That makes you essential." Kyle felt conflicted. He had always run from responsibility, yet here he was facing a threat beyond any human war. Elindra sensed his hesitation. "I will not force you," she said, "but if we fail, Nevarra falls. Then every realm touched by light will follow." Kyle exhaled slowly. The weight of her words settled on him like silent gravity. "Then show me what must be." "Done," he said. The Empress nodded and began to integrate his ship's systems with her own data lattice. She guided him through the resonance fields, teaching him how to modulate pulses using instinct rather than logic. She found that humans had an uncanny talent for improvisation, a trait machines and enhanced beings rarely possessed. Together, they discovered methods to generate harmonic barriers capable of momentarily slowing the advance of the convergence. Day by day, their bond deepened. Elindra was startled by how often Kale questioned her decisions, not out of defiance, but out of concern. Few had ever dared to speak to her with such honesty. She found herself drawn to his sincerity, his resilience, and the quiet sadness he carried. Kyle, in turn, found comfort in her presence. Her voice soothed the turmoil within him, and her brilliance illuminated the parts of himself he had long buried. Though she was an empress, and more energy than flesh, she possessed emotions that felt vividly real. When the first wave of the Dark Convergence struck a nearby star, the entire realm felt the tremor. Skies dimmed, structures shuddered. Elindra's eyes flared as she sensed the distortion. "It has begun," she whispered. Kale stood beside her in the nexus, watching the collapsing star through a projection field. The light bent inward, disappearing as though swallowed by an invisible maw. "We are not ready," Kale said. "We must be," she replied. "We launch now." The Empress merged her consciousness with the Solace Voyager, enhancing its systems until the once battered vessel became a luminous spear of energy. Kale sat in the pilot's chair, gripping the controls as Elindra's voice resonated through the cabin. "I am with you," she said. "Guide us." The ship surged into the star lanes, racing toward the source of the convergence. Kale felt Elindra's presence, intertwined with his thoughts, allowing them to act as one. The void ahead pulsed with unnatural rhythm. As they approached, he felt a strange pull, as if the darkness recognized him, Elindra noticed. "You feel its call," she said. Kyle nodded. "I felt this long ago, before I lost everything." Then the truth broke through his memory. He had encountered the convergence once before during a devastating battle on the edge of human space. His fleet had been annihilated not by weapons but by a silent wave of unmaking. He had survived only because his ship's systems malfunctioned, creating an unstable harmonic field that shielded him for mere seconds. He had fled, thinking it a miracle, never understanding what had spared him. Now he realized it had marked him. The convergence remembered him. Elindra spoke softly. "Your suffering was not meaningless, Kale. It has shaped you into the one person who can stand against this. As they neared the swirling distortion, the ship trembled. Reality warped, colors inverted. The void seemed to breathe. Elindra extended, her energy around Kale forming a protective aura. Hold the frequency, she instructed. Kale focused, adjusting the resonance fields as Elindra guided the flow. Together they projected a barrier of pure harmonic light into the distortion. For a moment, the darkness faltered. The convergence recoiled like a wounded beast. "It works," Kale shouted. "Only because our hearts align," she replied. "Do not falter." But the convergence was not passive. Tendrils of shadow surged forward, lashing against the barrier. Each strike sent shockwaves through their systems. Kyle gritted his teeth as alarms blared. Elindra's form flickered with strain. "We cannot hold." "This Kale said we can," she said. "But only if you open your memories fully." He hesitated. His past was a wound, yet he trusted her more than he had trusted anyone. He opened his heart, letting the pain flow outward. Elindra embraced it, intertwining her own ancient sorrow. "The Fiai,"